Have you ever wondered what is the type of technology that I should be using in the midterm rental space, especially when trying to cater to displaced families looking for temporary housing? What do I need? What do I not need? In this video, I'm going to let you know the tech stack and the best practice artifacts and technology that you need, and application and tools that you need in your tool belt to be able to go from A to Z to, again, house a family at a premium for 100% occupancy. That's our main goal. So if you're on this page, it's because you are very aware, or maybe this is your first time, that there is an opportunity where displaced families are being relocated into our homes, into a home that you own, into a home that you co-host or manage temporarily. And a temporary stay can be anywhere from 30 days to 6 months to 8 months, 9 months, where you're booked 100% at a premium, right? More than what you would even get in Airbnb in some markets, especially ours, right? It's all derived from the value of the home, right? And I have multiple videos that cover this, but to focus more on the question that people typically have around is, what technology do I need? So if you are coming from the Airbnb space, that world, you are literally just a few tweaks away. You already have the infrastructure in place. If you do not come from that world, I'll fill you in on what's required. So because we run the hybrid model, it's very important that you are leveraging the OTAs. The hybrid model means you're doing a combination of short-term rentals and midterm rentals. The reason why we truly, and I believe it's in your best interest to run the hybrid model, is because in midterm rental insurance stays, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And so it will happen. It is very prevalent that families need to be relocated due to water damage, fires, etc. It's actually way more prevalent than you might realize, especially if you're just coming into the space. We know because we're able to house families back to back to back to back for these unforeseen events. Now, in your case, you might be thinking, well, I haven't gotten a taste of this. And that's right. Sometimes it's all about timing. Sometimes it's all about supply and demand. However, there's still things that you need to have in place. And it is for that reason where I highly recommend that you have two listings, that you have a hybrid listing. You're doing a short-term rental and a midterm rental model. That way you get the best of upside. But however, you're going to want a few things to be able to set yourself up in that way. So let's start with the technology per se, right? First of all, one of the things that you must have or should have, and nothing is a must, everything is, well, I should say something is a must, but take everything with, this is what I recommend, this is what works. If you want to do things your way and tweak, that is up to you. That's your prerogative. However, I'm going to let you know what works very well and effectively. Right. So why don't we start with the dynamic pricing tool? The reason why you're going to want to have a dynamic pricing tool is when you're in the short-term rental space, you truly do want to still be able to have an SDR listing that changes with respect to the price, where the price change with respect to what's happening in the marketplace. So it is in your best interest to use a dynamic pricing tool. There are multiple out there. We use Price Labs, has a lot of data, has a lot of Airbnb data. That's good for us. You're going to want to always be priced in the right way for your SDR listing. Now, for the MTR listing, while you can put it on a dynamic pricing tool, we want to make sure that our base covers, what we want to actually get. And we derive that from the value of the home, right? So the value of the home might be $400,000. We know that typically insurance additional living expense can be anywhere from 20 to 30%. I do have a video on this page where you can actually figure out how to actually price your MTR. Just type that into the search, how to price my MTR. But anyway, if you take a 20 to 30% amount of the home's value as the napkin math, we then take that amount and we divide it by 6 to 8 months, just to give ourselves a good premium number that we want. We then take that number and divide it by 30 days. And then we have our daily rate that we would then put into as actually a fixed cost for the MTR listing, because we have a lot of listings and we don't necessarily need it to be dynamic. However, in your case, you could set that as your base price in your dynamic pricing tool and still be able to have the number that you want. So you really want to have a dynamic pricing tool. It's also going to help you with the strategy of setting up a price for your STR and a price for your MTR. And it's going to allow you to have your STR listing, have your prices increase after your lead time. What does that mean? That means that we want the STR listing price to go aggressively up an increase in price dramatically, because we do not want the people who are looking at our STR listing to book too far out, because then it eliminates the chance of us getting a midterm rental booking for that same property. If you're currently getting value from watching this video, you'll want to make sure you take a second and click below to grab the midterm rental insurance blueprint to help accelerate your process in being able to land these midterm rental insurance contracts with respect to your marketplace. Make sure you click the button below and grab it, and continue on with the gems in this video. So dynamic pricing tool, we use PriceLab. Then you're going to want to actually integrate that dynamic pricing tool with what we call a PMS, a property management software, right? Property management software, there are multiple out there. There's Hospitable, we use Guesty, and you're going to want to make sure that that one is very powerful, especially when you're taking a booking direct off platform. You'll be able to add a reservation the exact same way they do it in the hotel industry. Add a reservation, the name, the phone number, etc., the days that they're staying for, any notes that you want. It keeps you organized, allows you to see, especially when you start getting a lot more properties, you're able to kind of see where people are staying, when they're checking out, etc. Another thing that it does, it sends a notification to our cleaners, right? It has that ability where you can send a notification on the day of checkout. It integrates with our smart logs. Shout out to Slodge. We use Slodge as smart logs. We originally had to begin with August, but then over time we felt that kind of was giving us some issues. And the thing with Slodge is Slodge, Yale, and August does integrate with Guesty, and the reason that's powerful, it'll take the last 4 digits of the phone number of the person checking in and use that as the check-in code and automatically insert it into the automated templates that they also have the ability to create, where it'll just pull that 4 digits of their phone number every single time and use that as the check-in and checkout instructions, or smart lock code, which will then go into this check-in instruction. So this is the kind of stuff that really makes your life easy. And why is this important? Because anytime you're running your business in the MTR space, it's a little bit different in the sense that most of our families typically walk the property with someone, but after they've signed the contract and everything is approved by the insurance company, they're going to check in by themselves. We don't need to be there, and therefore we like smart homes, so we like to have the technology in place. Another thing that we use is shout out to ADT. Again, no affiliation with them. I'd love to get one, but we use it to secure homes, especially when we're out of state, is because you don't know what's going to happen, right? You want to make sure there's always someone who has got eye on properties. So there's a lot of security systems out there that we use. We always like to have a security system, especially if someone, let's say, overstays. You can then arm the house as a way, and if something moves in the house, it will then trigger and then we have the police come to the door and say, why are you still here, right? Literally, it's that. We literally have the police on our team. We love that. Okay, so that's technology 101. We talked about the Slodge locks. That's very key. Again, there are multiple locks out there. Look for one that integrates with your system. We do have cameras. We love the Ring cameras. The Google Nest aren't bad if you can get them hardwired, because you do have to charge the ones that are not hardwired. So, which is a little, it's an additional task that you have to add. We did start to play around with Breezeway on the back end very recently. It keeps us organized on the back end. So that is that. And then communication, using the PMS to communicate with guests. You might also use Zillow Rental Manager for if you ever want to use Avail to screen guests, do background checks. I know Zillow has one too. I think Avail might be part of Zillow. We use that. Typically we work with corporate, so we don't do a lot of background screening because it's the corporation who's on the line, but if you should, definitely do that. When it comes to having a direct booking site, shout out to Boostly. We use Boostly. There are multiple sites out there that you can use, but your PMS even has a website designer for some of them. I know Guesty has one as well. We typically, on the technology side, want to make sure that we are an inquiry only online, because we don't ever want someone to go there check us out online and see that we're not available. We want them to inquire first, and then we can move some things around, especially because we have hybrid listings. We want to make sure we're very malleable with the marketplace. So we have them inquiry, contact, book for more info, and it comes directly to our email. They do have the ability to have a direct integration with Stripe, which is the payment processing tool. We only use Stripe on the back end, after someone reaches out to us and books. If we're working directly with a corporation, we just do ACH and we just do checks, right? With leases. For the leases, we use Dotloop. The equivalent of that is DocuSign. It's easy to send a lease for someone to instantly sign, e-sign. So that's powerful. Stripe, keep in mind, Stripe, the payment processing tool, it is going to have a 3% processing fee. Keep in mind, with respect to your state, there might be some different rules around how much you can actually charge for taxes, etc. So make sure you go to Avalara. That's avalara.com. Check that out, because with respect to your marketplace, there might be different, more than 30 days, less than 90 days. Here, there's taxes underneath 90 days, more than 90 days. There you might not have to tax them. Look into that. Work with your CPA. Speak to a specialist when it comes to that, so that your bookkeeping is clean. Bookkeeping, we just use Excel for now, but I know there's obviously some good tools like QuickBooks that you can use, and it's good for that. Reason I'm going to go back to Stripe, I keep on jumping back and forth. Stripe also gives you the ability to send a receipt to someone, so it's very official. Once they book with you, you send them a receipt with your brand's name on there. That's very official. And those are the things that we're using. Those are going to be the main tools that you can utilize that will make not only your business easier on the back end, make it effective, efficient, and of course profitable and professional on the front end. Another thing you can use too is use Slack as well. There's a little bit of a hybrid there, because we do have different businesses. We don't necessarily use it for management because there's breezeways for that, but it is a way that we can utilize that. Another one that we've dabbled with is Airbnb, where you can find cleaners there. We had found a couple that we had utilized. There's, if you want to get more cleaners and stuff like that, we use Airbnb, but at the same time, speak to your local agents. Real estate agents will have some cleaners, because they're looking at clean properties all the time after it's about to be staged, renovated. That's how we've gotten a bulk of our referrals in the past as well. But Airbnb is also and also a great resource to find your cleaners. That will cover a bulk of it. And if you're in that position where you've listened to this video and you've done that, you already are like 95, not 99% covered. There's always going to be new tech. Make sure you stay ahead of the game. Make sure you think of what is the pain point, the biggest pain point that I have in my business right now that causes friction and is not as efficient, or where we lack in communication, and use that as your gateway to know if I need to pivot or not. Communication usually for me is the core of where business is, and is the required where the attention needs to go. So that's where we like to focus on first. Remember, always be professional, always be persistent, always be consistent, so that you can offer a quality product in the marketplace that will then reflect where you can stay and earn the rights to be 100% occupied and highly profitable. If you got value from this video, make sure you click the video of how to build long distance systems for midterm rental income success. You want to make sure you click that, and always hit the subscribe button, grab the midterm rental insurance blueprint, and we'll see you on the other side very soon.